In the old dark hours when the world becomes all iron and fog, when even the moon looks guilty for witnessing too much, I think of how love can curdle without ever quite dying. How it can put on a black velvet cloak and haunt the same corridors where it once danced barefoot, laughing with candle wax on its hands and your name stitched in gold inside its lining. Everything with you is cursed by complication. Not the clean kind, not the tragic beauty of a single wound, no. Ours is a bramble thorn tangle, a castle overrun with ivy and rumor, a forest path that circles back on itself until the traveler no longer knows whether she is lost or being kept. You do not come to me plainly. You come by echoes, by borrowed mouths, by other people carrying your questions like blackbirds in their teeth. How is she doing? Is she all right? What did she say? And there you are, hovering just beyond the lantern light, a half-seen thing behind the cart, behind the truck, behind your own cowardice, listening to my voice spill from a speaker as though hearing it secondhand might hurt you less, as though you could survive my ghost better than my body. You hide only to hear me breathe. You linger only to know if I am still wounded. You place yourself at angles from which I may be watched without your having to admit you are watching. Even when I do not stand beside you, even when I refuse the room your body occupies, I feel it, that quiet turning of you toward me as a wolf turns toward the scent of blood or a ruined chapel turns toward prayer long after God has left it behind. And still you ask after me. Still you show up. Still you find ways to speak sweet as poisoned wine, soft as a lullaby sung by something with teeth hidden in the dark. You say goodbye as though goodbye were innocent, as though the word itself had not already been made into a blade. And God help me, there is still a treacherous little kingdom in me that lights up when you do it. A foolish, feral thing with bells on its ankles and moonlight in its mouth, still thrilled that you looked, that you asked, that you listened for me, that somewhere beneath all your fear, I am still the name your pulse cannot quite stop saying. I want to tell you to go away. I want to slam the gates, salt the earth, set every bridge ablaze, and let the river carry the ashes to whatever hungry sea devours unfinished things. I want to want nothing of you. That would be the simpler spell, the cleaner curse. But love, damn it, love is not a disciplined creature. It does not leave because it is shamed. It does not pack its bags because the town has begun to whisper. It does not vanish because consequences came stomping down the road with iron boots and legal names. It stays. It stays in the ribs like a winter. It stays in the mouth like old prayer. It stays in the body even after the body has learned it is not safe to kneel there anymore. And what you do not understand, what I think you still refuse to hold in your trembling, self-protecting hands, is that what you followed through on was not small. Not some petty wound, not some passing storm, not a little scandal that would sting and then politely disappear. No, had those things been substantiated, I could have lost everything. The ordinary sacred architecture of mourning and home and belonging. I could have been dragged under. I could have watched my whole world collapse like a tower struck by its own bell. And you do not understand that. Or you understand it only dimly, as men understand fire when they are standing far enough away not to feel their own skin blister. You do not understand that that was the line. That was the blade drawn in the dirt. That was the moment the fairy tale rotted and the princess had to become her own armed sentry. I did not take precautions because I did not love you. I took them because I did. Because loving you did not erase the ruin you were capable of. Because I had to protect what was left of my life from the reach of your fear. And still you haunt me with tenderness. Still you ask how I am. Still your eyes travel over me like they remember every mercy of my shape. Still you check me out with that look that once could have undone me down to silk and starlight. Still you speak sweetly in the same world where your choices built the gallows. What a wicked, bewildering magic. to be loved and endangered by the same pair of hands, to be wanted and betrayed in the same breath, to know that the mouth which once kissed away my tears was the same mouth that could have spoken me into ruin. I want to hate you for that. I do. I want hatred to come clean and sharp, a queen in black armor, to lift her sword and end this. But hatred never arrives. Only grief dressed in fury, only love wearing funeral lace, only the same impossible truth beating its wings bloody against the bars of my chest. I still love you. I am still in love with you. And that is the most humiliating enchantment of all. Because what we had was not some shallow spark that blew out at the first hard wind. It was not counterfeit. It was not a performance. It was not a borrowed fever. We loved each other in that raw, strange language of people who had stopped pretending. We cried together, not elegantly, not beautifully, not like saints in paintings with one noble tear suspended on the cheek. We cried like weather, like something in us had broken loose and found in the breaking a place to be held. We argued, we burned, we bruised each other with words and still came back as if the night itself would not permit our story to sleep unrestored. We laughed, we unraveled, we made whole kingdoms out of ordinary hours, and no matter how jagged the day became, we reached for each other by dusk. We found a way. We kissed and made peace before sleep could harden the hurt. We made it a ritual, a vow without church walls that no darkness would take us without first watching us choose each other again. That kind of love does not evaporate on command. It does not die because the world found out. It does not die because there were consequences. It does not die because it became painful. It does not die because it should. It does not die. That is the tragedy. That is the spell. That is the wound with its jeweled knife. And I do not know how to make it better for the others standing in the wreckage. I do not know how to make it right. There is no wand for this, no wise old crone in the woods with a remedy brewed from lavender and bone, no hidden door in the hill that opens into a gentler ending. There is only this. You scrambling to mend the public shape of things, worried over reputation, over fallout, over who will stay, who will leave, who will look at you now and see what you were capable of becoming when fear took the wheel. And me, still unable to bury the promises, the future you spoke of like it had already laid our table. The passion in your voice when you said you were so madly, deeply, desperately in love with me. The way your hands held my face as if it were something holy you could not believe had chosen you. The way you kissed my tears like a man trying to apologize for every sorrow the world had ever laid on me. The way you cried too. The way we clung to each other in bed as though dawn might come with knives. It does not just go away. I wish it were that merciful. I wish love were a paper kingdom I could simply set aflame and watch curl into harmless ash. I wish I could unlearn your mouth, your voice, the look in your eyes when the room disappeared and it felt for one reckless hour as if the universe had narrowed itself to the distance between our bodies. But it stays, wild and wounded, whimsical with a curse in a storybook, dark as a tower with no staircase, faithful as a hound that keeps returning to the doorstep of one who struck it. So here I am, a woman in a ruined fairy tale, standing in the thicket with love in one hand and self-preservation in the other, unable to drop either, still furious, still enchanted, still grieving, still hoping in those humiliating little flashes when you ask after me, when you look, when you linger, when you cannot seem to stop circling the life you set on fire, and still knowing that until you understand what you nearly did, until you reckon fully with the size of the grave you almost dug for me, there can be no bridge, no spell of return, no soft and foolish surrender back into your arms. But love may not go away. Neither does the line. Neither does the knowledge of what it cost me to survive the shadow of your choices, and that, my lost and lovely ruin, is the darkest magic of all, that I can love you with the whole haunted cathedral of my heart and still bar the door.